G'day fixers, and welcome to my video about the 52cm self-propelled Ego battery operated mower. That's a mouthful. It's not really a review, it's more of an experience of me, a complete lawn novice, using this thing for nearly 9 months now. Very long story short, the old gardener kind of killed this lawn, and so we spent a lot of money over the last winter installing brand new turf. And the footage you're watching now is 6 weeks on, where it's ready for its first mow. I could not, for love or money, even a lot of money, find someone who was willing to take on, not just mowing the lawn, but looking after the garden. So I thought, bugger it. I'm already the building manager, let's look after the garden as well. It should be good fun, with only one slight problem. I've never done gardening before, and my experience with a mower was limited to a couple of times as a 12 or 14-year-old with my dad's old Petrol one. And what that taught me is, I did not want a Petrol mower. So that narrowed down the field, did some research, and Ego is where I ended up settling, because I got the pole extension kit with the whip snipper and things too. I'll do a separate video on that. Today, I want to take you through my experiences with this beast of a machine, as I learn how to use it and learn how to mow lawns, as if it wasn't completely obvious by this early footage. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Time for the second ever mow on the lawn. It's looking pretty lush, except for one patch where my irrigation system is still not hitting it well enough. Got to get that sorted out. But generally speaking, it's time for the grass to get chopped down properly. It got a really light haircut about 2 weeks ago, just to let it all settle in. It should be done nicely now, and we'll be giving the Ego, not its first run, second run. And we'll see how it's able to make this grass look nice and lovely. Got a bit of cleanup, it's been quite windy here. Get rid of all those small sticks, but yeah, this will test it. And the reason I'm going to film today is because that is long. That's up to 10 centimeters plus, so it's at 4 inches plus in some places. It's nice and dry. I made sure the watering didn't go on tonight, and it's 350-ish square meters. Going to move that out of the way, and the patch over there as well. And as you can probably notice, one of the reasons I went with the Ego is a self-propelled mode. I'm going to try to hold that level. So there you go, that's my level eye line. Look at that slope. It doesn't look like much, but that's probably, it's over my head at the top, so it's more than 2.5 meters up. It's quite a steeply sloped block, which means the self-propel is going to come in very, very handy. Try and put a bit of a time lapse on, see what we can do cleaning up this green stuff. It's looking good, about to look better.
Right, first things first, for those interested, this is Matilda Buffalo, and it was laid down as sod or rolls about 8 weeks before this, and we are in the middle of spring. It was looking good. And that is the self-propelled mode. As you can see, it is lovely and quiet, and you can operate it with one finger. We'll look at that in a little bit more detail later, and show you my father-in-law, who's never touched a mower before, trying to master driving it too. For me, it took maybe 1 or 2 mows before I really got settled with the self-propelled, when you have to use it, when you don't have to use it. But as you'll see later on, it really is one of the big selling points of this machine. Now I'm going to try and focus on the mower, but I love talking about the grass too a bit. This is a challenging lawn. As you can see by the amount of shade, we are in the growing season here. We are probably late morning, and a lot of this lawn, particularly down the bottom, if you will notice, is covered in shade. Also, because I am paid to do this for the strata block, I can only mow it once every 2 weeks. And there's an empty catcher already, check that out. Which is not ideal for a healthy lawn. You should be doing it more often than that in the growing season. All these things I have learnt recently. And as I showed you by that length earlier, I end up taking off too much, which stresses the lawn. You should only be taking 1/3 of the leaf, but I simply don't have the time to come back and mow this as regularly as it needs to be. So if you are new to the whole lawn mowing game like I am, or was at the time at least, I'd recommend doing some reading and research about looking after your lawn, because a good mower is one thing, but knowing how to use it is another. My recommendation, if you are in Australia or in the US now as well, is an Aussie company called Lawn Hub. They're a fertilizer company, ostensibly, and again, I'll do a video on their products later. But they're a wealth of information, especially for new people, about basic lawn care. And that's where I've been learning most of the stuff. Did I mention they are hilariously punny? And that's a big tick. Right, back to the mower. This is sort of the pattern that I've ended up settling on, doing loops around the outside of this very odd-shaped yard. And you might notice me struggling with the catcher there. That's a funny story. I've chosen to leave it in. You'll get to see why the stupidity of my good self led to these delays trying to reattach that damn thing. Don't worry, I do sort it out eventually, but you'll hear me bitching and whinging about my own idiocracy in a minute or two. As I said, I'm completely new to this, and so I'm sharing the frustrations as a new lawnmower owner. So if you are similar to me and just getting into this for the first time, you can avoid some of the frustrations that I had. Chucking the bench out of the way and finishing up my first proper lap of the big part of the lawn. That tree there is a cypress pine. Lovely old girl, but does add the challenges of increased shade and drawing a lot of the water away from my steeply sloped lawn. We'll see how it progresses into the autumn.
And we're done. That was lush. That was very lush, very thick. I maybe took it down one notch too far, but we are heading into summer now, right in the growing season, so I think it should be fine for its first proper mow, and it's just beautiful. Still a good length on that. It's number 5 setting, no idea what that equates to, but it's still above average in terms of its ability to go down. It's got 8 settings on there. And there's a few spots I'm going to have to learn to navigate better. I am very new to lawn mowing in general, as well as this particular lawn. However, I did just finish, so let's go check something important. The catcher. I dislike the catcher on this thing. It is very fiddly, as you'll see in the time-lapse video. Every time I need to put it on, I do struggle. I'm going to have to see if I'm doing it wrong, because that's always the first thing you should check before you bitch about anything. But I think it's just this mechanism here where you've got that hook that you got to get in, and then you actually need to put quite a bit of tension on it to get the second hook in. It does hold quite a lot of grass. I don't know how many times I emptied that. It's probably 4 or 5 for this, and I said it's 350 squares. This one's bigger, so this is probably a bit over 200 square meters. I have to put the screen conversion for you people who are using the Imperial system, so I've got no idea how to convert that in my head. What are we on? There we go, setting 5 on the Ego. And yeah, it's left it at a beautiful length. I think that's the length I'm going to keep it at. Now, this is the 7.5 amp hour battery, 200 square meters. And we are still over half, 60% of the battery there left at least. And I know, because I mowed last time, although this is much thicker, that I got both sides of the lawn done with 2 bars remaining last time. I reckon I'll be at only 1 bar just because of the extra length that we're going to. So please don't judge me on my lawn mowing abilities. As I said, this is not a how to mow a lawn video. This is how a bloke who doesn't know how to mow a lawn gets on with the Ego 52 centimeter self-propelled unit. And so far, pretty well. I've got to get the line trimmer and clean all those up. Yes, I should probably do that first, but as we said, I am just learning this thing. I scalped it in a few places where we've got some roots, so I'm going to have to watch out for those in the future. And we've still got a few little foibles with our irrigation system, so there must be a big root. I know there's a big root going under there, so I just got to be careful. I'll have to do that bit with the trimmer in the future because I've chewed that up nice and good. Some of the dry patches, we've got to get the irrigation to fix on. But overall, I am bloody chuffed with that. I got the nice smell of grass on a Saturday, and it took me just over half an hour to do this side of the lawn, and that was with the filming and everything else too. So I still got this side of the lawn to go.
And that'll give me the opportunity to speak about a few other things I like and dislike about the mower. Quality of cut. Bloody fantastic. Keep in mind I have very little frame of reference, but it seems to do a really, really lovely job. I'm sure you will have to sharpen the mower blades at some stage, but I try to pick up all the sticks and things beforehand so that I'm not smashing into them constantly and blunting my blades. The catcher, despite my troubles initially getting it on and off, is huge, and it will take a lot of weight. Keep in mind though, more weight means more drain on your battery. You'll notice I had a lot of grass on the outside of the catcher. That was because I hadn't figured out how to attach it properly yet, but even when it is attached, you do get a bit of leakage around the outside, so be aware of that.
Second half done. That must be a lot smaller. I think it's probably more like 250, 120, something along those lines. And this is actually trickier. I haven't quite figured out my pattern for doing this efficiently yet, but I'll get there in time. It's only the second mow. Again, same lush result. Probably about 2 catches worth on there. and that only took 20 minutes, I think, something like that, really quick. So all in all, I can do these lawns, just the mowing part, in an hour, hour 15, thereabouts, probably quicker once I get a bit of practice in. And now I've got to come back with the trimmer and do that. Battery power, how are we going? Still 40% battery left, and that only just ticked down. I was watching it towards the end. That is on 7 or 8 catches worth of grass, maybe more, and really thick, quite moist grass, very lush. Absolutely no regrets about not getting the Petrol mower. You can just choose when to do it. I've heard it bogs down in the wet, but honestly, there was a bit of dew on that, and if you're mowing it any wetter than this is, you're probably mowing at the wrong time, from my limited knowledge of the subject. Ego, so far, very impressed with the unit. Dislike the catcher. That's about my only major complaint for the second. Okay, I do actually have the combination pole saw kit, which has the pole saw, the extended handle, and the whippersnipper line trimmer for you guys over in the States. I'm going to break that out now and give that a crack too, but I might save that video for another day. This one will just focus on the mower itself. Then I got to do the regular gardening before it gets too bloody hot.
Right, now if you've never owned a mower and you think I look too experienced, here is a bloke who has literally never touched one before trying the Ego. My father-in-law.
He's been learning this for a couple of minutes. Just getting the hang of back weight and the drive control. This is my father-in-law, Yongshan. He doesn't speak any English, so he doesn't know what I'm saying. And he has probably never mowed a lawn in his life. I don't think he has ever mowed a lawn in his life. He lives in an apartment. I think he has lived in the city for his 60-odd years. I was just getting the hang of it, but he's having fun. The self-drive just takes a few minutes to wrap your head around. He's doing a great job. Helping me out. So that's his third mow. I've run out of whippersnipper line, so I couldn't do all the edges. Get around near the trees. I think Dad missed a spot there, but generally speaking, for his first ever go on a mower, that's pretty nice. Still got to get the irrigation fixed to get that patch growing nicely, but we're looking good. Righty, this is mow number 4, and as you can see, we're heading into summer, still in spring, but between mows, she's getting very long. So what I think I'm going to do today is take it down a notch from where I've been. I've been intentionally keeping it really high as it establishes itself, but here is the controller, and what am I on? I'm on 5 of 7. You look at the specs, you want to know what the cuts are. I don't really care. All I know is that because I only can do it once every 2 weeks, that's a bit too much for the summer, and we're going to drop it down to 4. Super easy. Now let me show you something else that I've been stupid about. I was struggling for the first 2 mows with this thing, and I thought, why is it this hard? It really shouldn't be this hard, and I'll show you why. Newbie mistake, so new punters don't make the same error. Hooks, obviously, yeah, good hooks, nice. This all goes together super easy. Holes on either side of the catcher. So James would assume that, and you can see the wear marks on there, catcher would go into holes like this, right? Except it doesn't really fit. I had to stretch it, and if you look in the really early time lapses, you'll see me struggling to stretch. Now you can do it, and I just thought, that's dumb. Everything about this mower works. Everything about this mower has been great. And that just to me seems really effing stupid. Plus, you ended up with a gap here, which, was also not really great too, because the grass wouldn't go in. And of course, I went back to YouTube because there's nothing specifically that says it in the manual. And here. Sorry, that's really hard to do one-handed. So, lift your flap, hook it on the inside, and funnily enough, there's no gap, and it comes off and on really easily to empty the catcher. Stupid Jamesy. All right, let's get cracking. Oh, yeah, I think I filled that one. That was absolutely chockers. So with this current length of grass, I got 2 laps around here, and I do like the length. There's a little bit, feels a little bit short in places, but it should be fine. And yeah, that's how you know when she's full. Come on back here. We'll go over that again. Up, over. There you go. Look at that, one-handed. That's how it should work. Alright, now I'm going to attempt to do something here to show you how good the self-propelled is. I've got that on basically the slowest speed, and it's a very comfortable walking and cutting speed. This is actually significantly uphill over this section here, and it works an absolute dream. Has got the lights on the front too. I don't tend to mow in the dark, so I don't need those. Battery indicators, everything up here, 2-stage start. So we hold down the button, and then we pull back the controller, which I'm going to need to do with my other hand. No, wait. This is difficult one-handed, but we'll try. Button down, controller up. Gets up to speed. Let go of the button. So that goes up or down. Yeah, about there. And then these are your self-control. And if you can still hear me and I'm not switched to voiceover, it gives you an indicator of just how quiet this thing is. It's really good. Now, we should be able to one finger mow the lawn. You can have the thumb down. Literally, I've just got a tiny pincer grip holding the power, throttle, and the drive. Get to the corner, let go, back her off, thumb down, up the hill we go. That is just ridiculously easy. Makes mowing an absolute breeze, at least when you're using two hands. Then you get to the downhill section and you don't need to use it. So basically the less you push, the more your battery is going to go. So while it's a big mower, it's actually very easy to maneuver once you've got the hand on it. Again, I've just got one hand just rolling down the hill. Beautiful stuff. I am really enjoying this guy.
Right, while we do this one-handed, good opportunity to mention, it's a polycarbonate body, not steel. That seems to upset some people, but it will never rust, and as you can see, I can now move this thing around quite comfortably one-handed. It is still not light. I struggled to carry it up the stairs. It's a heavy bit of a mower, but on the grass, when you're maneuvering it, I'd rather have the lighter plastic body than a solid steel shell.
Okay, so I'm getting a couple of these swirl marks, and there are a few spots where I know there are tree roots underneath and it creates like a hump, and understandably it then scalps over the top, but I really don't like that. And the reason again is that the grass is quite thick and uneven. So see here, I can really sink into it in places, but not everywhere. And so I'm getting these random bumps, and I don't like that scalping. I'm scared of that. Basically, I don't want to kill the lawn. So I'm going to crank it back up to number 5, I think, because I didn't have any or as many issues with that. And that is going to have to be the height of my lawn, because I wasn't getting these in the previous 3 mows, and I am today, and I don't like it. All right, so I'm much happier with this. You can see how yellower it is over there. We'll take a close look in a second. But on the 5 setting, that is the setting for my lawn. In terms of power, people love to go on about their Petrol. I've not really used the Petrol one too much, but this is pretty long grass. It's still a bit dewy from this morning, and this guy's just beating it up. One-handed. Shuts off nice and quiet, starts again every time, never have to have a pull cord on it. So you can see here, there's a root under there that I've got to get the weed whacker on to do the edges. But yeah, I've cut that one to the 4, and you know, that probably will green up really nice. And if it does green up really nice, maybe I will. But the sinkhole sort of places, these swirlies, yeah, I want to avoid that. That looks terrible. Whereas this one is getting mowed. Well, that was on the 4, another swirly there. Yeah, it just looks much better on the 5. That's what we're going to do. All right, I am much happy with that. Obviously, I got to get the whip snipper out to come back and do the edges. And that is a spider on my face. Did you guys catch that? Where is he? Where is he? Oh, there he is. Yeah, that's not ideal. Sorry, little buddy. They're my eyeballs. You can't be there. You gone? You gone? Where were we? Yeah, so that's on 5, and I'm much happy with that. One thing I will note is just going down that one click. I think it's a centimetre and a half or something like that. I've filled nearly 2 bins. And also, for the first time, I think I had the 7.5 in here. We're on red. So I don't know how much longer I would have had. It just went red as I finished on the 7.5 amp hour battery for 350 squares. So it's still one battery to do the whole lawn, cutting it from that long to this short. Very nice, very happy. Let's get the whipper out and continue the work. Okie dokie, so we're probably 2 or 3 months in now. I think we're closer to 2 of running the Ego. It's probably the 6th mow I think I've had. And for the first time, come on, there you go. Not dead yet, but it's telling me it's about to be dead. And I still have this much of the lawn left. So every other mow I have done up until this point, I have been able to basically get everything done on the single 7.5 amp hour battery. Let's just check I do have the 7.5. Did I put the 5 in there by mistake? That could explain things. I did. Okay, well that's actually a good test. All right, so this is a smaller battery. That's why it ran out. Shows you the difference. So if you are getting the 52 centimeter and you want to do 350 square meters, that's how much you'll get done on the 5 amp hour. Now, also, it is a little bit damp today, earlier in the morning, because it's going to be stinking stupid hot. And we've had a lot of rain recently, so the grass is going gangbusters in the parts where it sees the sun, at least. Anyway, father-in-law helping out again. So you can see along there, it's long, it's very long, it's lush, and it's a tiny bit wet. Just damp. Not wet, just damp. So, 7.5, definitely. I was getting worried there. I was wondering why that was chewing through fast. Excellent. Nearly done. Looking good.
So this is the charger that comes with the kit. The 7.5 I think takes 50 minutes to refill to 90%. Pretty bloody quick.
5, 7.5. Extra green bits. Chonkier too. Alrighty, well this will be overkill for the rest of it, but unfortunately I've lost driving duties. Gus, woohoo! Father-in-law wants to take over the reins. Go for it, mate. It's just fun. Not sure about the safety sandals. Whoa, wrong one. Hey, you've got to help me turn it on. Hang on. So. Button 2. And he's away again. He's got definitely got the L plates on. Dad? It's only the second time he's used this thing. But he's out here and he wants to have a crack, so who am I to say no? As long as he doesn't cut his feet off. At least he's got real shoes on this time. It really is a very easy thing to do. As I might have mentioned before, my father-in-law lives in a unit and has done his whole life in China. We don't speak a word of English, I don't speak much Chinese. And I managed to teach him how to use this thing in about 5 minutes. Very easy and intuitive piece of kit. He's figuring out the self-drive, there he goes. Oop, oop, oop. There he goes. So that's actually something really interesting I don't think I've mentioned before because it's hard to film when I'm driving the Ego as well. If it's on a slope like we are there, and that's actually quite a decent slope, if the Ego is, there he's spun it again, if it thinks it's going backwards, then the self-drive won't kick in properly. So you have to make sure you're holding it nice and still, and even with a tiny bit of forward pressure, because if it's slipping backwards, the self-drive doesn't like it and it will have a bit of a hissy fit. He's keeping the deck flatter today, that's good. Anyway, Dad, thank you for showing us. I'm a novice myself, but he's even more so of a novice. He's doing well. Okay, so Dad is still practicing, and you can see here he's lifting the mower a little bit in times, and I think part of the problem is this handle. I am 6 foot, Dad is about 5'5", and one of the good things we can do is actually change the angle of this handle. That is at the really high position, which for me is great. For him, not so much. So if we come down here and hold that, we can drop that down. Handhold, lower, good, yep. Okay, so that might be a better height for him, and we'll see if that helps out at all. So it's got 3 height settings. We actually just picked it up to the middle one. I use the highest one. That's probably still a bit high for him, but he said he liked that one, so we'll give that a go. And maybe that will help him get a bit more of an even crack. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's looking a bit better already. So he was just lifting the mower in a few spots. We'll see what happens when he comes over this bit, because it's really noticeable. So that was the bit I was mowing. Obviously we're on the same height setting. And you can see here, so he's got a couple of swirlies where he has lowered it down for the moment. When he comes over those again, see if he manages to do without tilting the mower back up again. Still a really good piece of kit, very easy to use. Alright, let's see how he goes coming around this bend now. Check this line compared to the others. Still a bit high, but it's looking okay. You'll get there.
Let's take a look at the blades. This is an upgrade. They're called the Select Cut blades, and there are 2 of them. Apparently, they improve the quality of the cut. I'll take their word for it.
Yeah. Time for a clean. This is the bottom of the mower about 4 months on, and I'll be honest, I've not properly cleaned it before, and this is just the build-up. I've only done 1 wettish mow, and when I say wet, it's just dew, like it will be this morning. However, do check underneath here, and with the battery out, of course, give it a bit of a clean. Let's take a look at the blades. So here is my cutting edge, and we can see some of the paint has chipped off all along here. However, that is still very sharp, very lovely and sharp. So, and this is a lifting blade. Yeah, they feel good. I'm not sure how often you're meant to shave the blades. Probably more often than I'm ever going to do it. But it seems to be giving a nice cut still, so we'll give it another run today. Right, going to be trying something different today. We've hit autumn and the grass is not going to be growing as fast anymore. It's looking okay, still got its nice green colour. I'm going to get rid of the bag. I've never mulch mowed before, and I'm not going to pretend I even know why or how or the science goes about it, but some people say it's a good thing to keep this nutrient that's in the top of the grass back in, and this mower apparently is quite good at mulch mowing. So we're going to whack this guy in here. Look at that shit. Like that. So that plug means that the little bits of grass is going to swirl around underneath that guy, get chopped up and deposited back and fertilise your lawn. So yeah, we'll give it a crack, see if I like it. And we might try that over the winter just to keep the nutrient in the grass instead of off it. Let's have a go. Okay, so that's half the lawn done, and the first thing is, that's a lot faster because I'm not stopping to empty a catch 2 times usually on this particular patch of grass. The cut is, well, exactly the same as it would be. I haven't changed the height on there or anything like that, and you know, it looks nice. Lawn's a bit dry, needs a bit of water, still got some quite warm for there. It's cleaned up all the leaves, I just mulched them back as well. The mower does get a lot dirtier. Obviously it's kicking up all that dirt and dust and stuff that's coming on. Instead of going into the bag, it's got nowhere to go. But you know, quick blow job at the end of it and that will be all good. Under here, so a little bit of it crept through, but not much. That's all looking nice. There you go, so that's what it's doing. It's basically just spitting out all those clippings down onto the grass. Now let's take a look. Let's go down one of the barer patches. So, shadow. So that's been mulched over and you can see through to the dirt there, and honestly I can't notice the difference. I seriously cannot see the clippings in there We're not going to get into the whole thatch debate or anything like that. Apparently that's a thing. I don't know enough to comment. You know what? After 3 or 4 months of mowing with the bag, I think I'm a convert. I'm kind of hoping the mulching will help get some nutrient back into my dead patch here. But yeah, I mean, the lawn looks great. If you go to a few places, here you go. So this is my dead patch, and you can see what the mulch is leaving behind. Those little bits of grass, they'll break down nice and quick. I really need to get some soil into that. But I reckon that was not half the time, but almost half the time. And here's another big one. If you've got a big lawn, that took less than half a battery. That normally takes most of the big battery. It's really dry today and it's not as long, but I think just the not hauling around a catcher that gets heavy with grass, and this is a 6-7 catcher lawn when I'm doing it, it saves, because I lean heavily on the auto drive, the power in the mower. So with a smaller battery, I could do the whole lawn easy on Mulch Mow. I might actually research that and learn how to do it properly. Here you go, this is the thickest, healthiest part of the lawn. It gets the most sun and the most water, and look at that. That looks like it's good for the lawn. So when the grass, I wish all my grass looked like this. This is the goal. If I have all the grass looking like this particular patch here, then I'd be happy. But obviously we've got a steep slope. I've got poor irrigation in places. I've got no sun in places. I wish it was that green. However, the mulching mowing, that's lovely. There you go. Thickest through here, thickest grass, thickest mulch. Get it in ya.
We said this is not a review, and as the quality of this last section of the video will go, it's definitely not. I am literally editing the video right over here with my D&D setup in the background. But I wanted to go over this mower now. It is 9 months old, and my final thoughts on using it. Here's the catcher, the condition that it's in after I finally figured out how to use the damn thing. It's holding up okay. I am getting a bit of wear along this edge. Just you can see the stitching sort of coming up a bit away from the wear and the tear. This handle down in here has come in very handy because I actually have to haul it from this storage room upstairs to do so. And as we mentioned, it is heavy. I can do it, but only just. I think it's 20-something kilos. So, you got to come around here, grab your handle on there, and lift it up to get it up the stairs, but most people won't have that problem. There are the LED lights, just trying to cover off anything that didn't become apparent in the video. I have never used those. I probably never will use those, but in some places of the world, they probably are. We looked at the blades before. They seem to be holding up all right. I haven't had need to sharpen them yet. The wheels, still fantastic condition. Don't often need to brush them down or blow them down. The back flap, still excellent condition. That's where the catcher hooks on. Obviously, I try to clean this fairly often. Self-drive back here. No damage, no wear, no tear that I can see. Everything has been functioning beautifully. This is not a cheap piece of kit. You can definitely get much cheaper mowers. But the other thing is, it has cost me nothing. It starts every time. The electricity is coming into the batteries up there. The Strata's paying for that anyway, as it is just for the Strata lawn. These controls are all really robust, really sturdy, really easy to use. Battery compartment in there. Safety key. I've got a daughter now, and one day I may have to remove that so she never plays with it, but you can pull that out, and the mower will not start with it in there. Look, I'm chuffed. I'm absolutely chuffed. Not a cheap piece of kit, but I think it is the right mower for my lawn, and you may not need this big-ass bastard of the 52. I think it's the second biggest one they have. You might need a smaller one. I can't recommend it enough. It is good value for money. You get a lot of mower for that price with none of the hassles, none of the noise, none of the stink of a petrol engine. And I know a lot of people love their petrol. If that's good for you, go for it. I'm electric all the way. I'm a full convert now. I would never go back to a petrol mower after having used this, and I'd never buy another mower that doesn't have self-drive. I hope this very long look at this mower has at least inspired you a little bit into whether or not it's suitable for your needs, or maybe one of the smaller models. James Fixit fingers out. Catch you on the next one.